Around here, there's a bunch of crooks around here. You ain't supposed to be in that jail, boy. Get over there, man. No, that's supposed to know, man. Vodka, man.
Is my salary going up?
The Bahamian people gotta wake up.
This is my 5 cents and I approve this message.
Confusion surrounding the proposed construction of a $600 million energy plant. The F&M says the ongoing BEC sale may be compromised. 3 of the iguanas successfully repatriated to the Bahamas have died, and the Director of Labor says problems affecting those protesting Chinese workers are being addressed. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and MB12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, there is confusion surrounding the proposed construction of a waste-to-energy plant that's estimated to cost more than $600 million. Amid the confusion, principal of the Stellar Waste-to-Energy Bahamas Limited, Fabrizio Zanabani, says the plant could generate 3,000 construction jobs and 500 permanent jobs. This as several government officials question the validity of a letter of intent signed earlier this week. Our Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
Stellar Energy signed a letter of intent with the Ministry of Works on Monday, and now officials at the company insist it will signal a restructuring of the energy infrastructure. But several calls to government officials call the project into question. When contacted today, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works Philip Davis, as well as Minister of the Environment Kenred Dorset, both indicated they were unaware of the signing. When provided with images of the signed document that appeared to show Parliamentary Secretary for the Works Ministry Renward Wells had signed the document, Davis told our news team that only the Minister of Works and Permanent Secretary have authority to sign an LOI. When asked, Wells echoed Davis' comments, but would not confirm whether or not he signed the document. But Zanaboni insisted that the document is authentic. When pressed, he said he was not present when the document was signed, but he is confident it is authentic as it was obtained by one of his trusted local partners. The LOI in question centers around Stellar's plans, which include building a $625 million to $675 million waste-to-energy plant at the landfill. According to Zanaboni, the massive project would involve the project putting up 100% of the cost of the development of the facility, which would take 2 years to construct. Upon completion, he says the plant will generate 70 to 80 megawatts of power daily from the burning of waste arriving at the landfill.
The plant will be built in 18 to 24 months. It will be done in a modular, so that's why it takes so little, because part is built in England and shipped here, just assembled. There will be 4 lines of 20 megawatts each, a bit less because it's 70 to 75. And they will be basically not very invasive. It's quite low. The stacks are very low. It doesn't look like really a power station.
He adds that within 24 months of the signing of the LOI, an initial public offering is expected, which would involve providing some portion of the ownership of the company to the Bahamian public. He explained that they are hoping to have Bahamians own 90% of the shares.
One of our objectives is to have this project 90% owned by Bahamians. So in other words, we will not cater for equity in the UK or in the US or in the Middle East, where we have a lot of contacts. We will only use them if there is a shortfall in the ability of the Bahamians to bring the capital or to help us with the capital, because the dividends must stay here. It's a very profitable project, and as such we would like all the benefits to stay in the Bahamas. We will only involve foreign investors that we already have lined up if there is a shortfall in the ability of the Bahamians to contribute to participate to this exciting project.
Meanwhile, it is also unclear how the contract signed with Stellar will conflict with the contract signed with Renew Bahamas. Both companies' business models revolve around having access to the waste streams coming into the landfill. Renew Bahamas was officially announced in June by Dorset as taking over management of the landfill. Dorset said that the company would establish a materials recycling facility into which waste would be fed to produce recycled materials for sale. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
BEC back in the news today after the corporation's chairman admits the U.S. company assessing the reasons for the massive power outage on New Providence last week is also one of the top bidders in the BEC sale. Chairman of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation Robert Myers and former Minister Fenton Nemore claim the government is compromising BC's bidding process. But today, Leslie Miller is defending the decision to use the foreign experts. Simone Davis reports.
Myers shared his concerns that the early involvement of a Carolina-based company called PowerSecure will hinder the bidding process for BEC and raise concerns for other bidders. PowerSecure is one of 5 companies bidding on BEC contracts centered on the generation of power and responsibility for the transmission and distribution of power.
Myers told our news team that it is the cardinal rule to protect the bidding process. And once that process is broken, it is likely that nobody would bid for that company in the future.
Former Minister of Environment with responsibility for BEC, Fenton Nemore, said the bidding process is now compromised and all of the bids should be annulled.
I firmly believe that the government has already compromised the bidding process, and so I do firmly agree with the position put forth. I would even go further to say that I'm of the view that the bidding process now should be annulled because they have given one of the proposed bidders an unfair advantage over other bidders.
Nemore also said he thinks the government interfered with the process to give PowerSecure an unfair advantage over the other companies bidding for BEC.
The government knowingly interfered with the process to give this bidder an unfair advantage in this whole episode, because the question really should be, does KPMG, were they advised that they were in discussions with this bidder to solicit proposals? If KPMG were advised prior to this process, did KPMG give their advice and did KPMG approve of the process? If this were not done, clearly the bidding process has been compromised.
When contacted for comment, BEC Chairman Leslie Miller said he had no comments on the matter because BEC only brought in the company they saw best fit to solve the issues. He said bringing in PowerSecure had nothing to do with the bidding process, and the choice was solely based on solving and preventing future power outages. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, it's been 2 days since a group of Chinese workers of the Baha Mar project protested in front of the Chinese embassy over unpaid wages. Director of Labor Robert Farquharson, who was at the scene of the protest when it happened, said today he has met with the protesters as well as their employer, China State Construction, and he is confident the concerns will be addressed.
With the assistance of a representative from the Chinese embassy and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, we bused the workers to Workers' House, where we held 2 very productive meetings. The first meeting we held was with the 45 migrant workers, where they were given an opportunity through a translator to express their concerns to us in relation to breaches of their terms and conditions of employment. They were of the view that they were not being treated fairly, and some of the conditions on which they agreed to during the course of their employment was not being adhered to.
Farquharson was at the scene on Wednesday afternoon where Chinese workers of the Baha Mar project protested in front of the Chinese embassy. The workers, still clad in their hard hats and vests, had walked from the site of the Cable Beach development to the Shirley Street embassy. With the assistance of cell phone translators, the workers indicated they haven't been paid in some 6 months and were asking the embassy to intervene. Farquharson today was reluctant to give details on their issues, explaining he did not want to get specific, but he noted unpaid wages were a concern.
The timely payment of their wages and salary was a concern. I would not want to get any specifics, but that was one of the concerns that were expressed.
Farquharson noted although the workers work on the Baha Mar site, the resort has no involvement in the issue. He said it's a problem between the employees and their employer, China State Construction. Farquharson said he met with the construction company where officials informed the department of the conditions under which the workers came to the Bahamas. In turn, Farquharson said the department explained to the company provisions of the Employment Act that all workers in the Bahamas must be governed by. Farquharson said, in accordance with the Industrial Relations Act, the department is allowing China State Construction to address the concerns raised by the employees ahead of another meeting with labor officials next Friday. The department will also meet again with the protesters to get a more complete update. Farquharson said he's confident the problems will be addressed.
Based on my experience, the issues raised by the workers are not insurmountable. They are not major critical issues that cannot be addressed. And that's why I'm very confident that they will be addressed.
Farquharson noted there are 3,200 Chinese workers currently on site at the Baha Mar project, and only 45 workers have protested. He added, although some may have found it curious to see foreign workers protesting, and interest may have been heightened because of the highly anticipated Baha Mar project, the situation is not something the department finds unusual.
I think it was odd because of the Baha project, but we have issues with Bahamian and non-Bahamian workers expressing concerns on a regular basis. They just don't come to the eyes of the press, and so I think that was the only difference in this case, that the press was made aware, but the Department of Labor deals with issues of Bahamian and non-Bahamian workers on a consistent basis.
Well, 3 of the 12 rock iguanas that were successfully repatriated back to the Bahamas after they were smuggled out of the country in February died yesterday on Independence Day Eve. According to a statement, after arriving in San Salvador on Wednesday, the animals were removed from the packaging material and assessed to be in good condition. Yesterday morning, they were observed and again found to be in good condition. However, later that evening, 3 of the iguanas appeared to be unresponsive, and despite best efforts, the animals died. The remaining 9 iguanas are readjusting well. The statement says the incident of mortality associated with smuggling and repatriation is unavoidable, and there could be many reasons for the demise of the animals. The Environment Ministry says it will work with experts to arrange for a necropsy to determine the exact cause of death and will keep the public informed. Police are investigating a shooting incident that left 1 man in hospital in serious condition. According to police reports, shortly before 3 a.m. this morning, the victim was at Robinson Road when another man armed with a handgun shot him to the abdomen. Investigations are ongoing, and police appeal to anyone with information regarding the incident to contact police anonymously at 919 or 328 TIPS. When AB12 returns, the State Minister of Finance says value-added tax legislation coming by the end of the month. Stay with us.